Good morning and welcome to day 6. Today we left the tower and headed for Wentworth Woodhouse. We came across this beautiful herd of fallow deer in the Chatsworth Park with some sheep mixed in, obviously. Those are sheep and fallow deer. Don't think I've lost my eyesight. So the last time we came to Wentworth Woodhouse, it was shut, I believe, for some restorations, so you couldn't even get into it. So today we went on the hidden tour of the house. but the estate rooms were closed for either filming or a wedding or both. I'm not really too sure. Anyways, the pictures that will follow after our nice little drive to Wentworth Woodhouse will show you the hidden parts of the house that you don't normally get to see. And then, because they only run this tour kind of once every Saturday with David, who is a fount of knowledge. I recorded his tour, but it was like an hour long, so I don't know if we want to, listen to that or whatnot, but at least I've got it for my own records. So the original Jacobean house was rebuilt by Thomas Watson Wentworth and then vastly expanded by his son, who was actually prime minister twice. Then in the 18th century, it was inherited by the Fitzwilliam family, who owned it until 1979, with lots of coal being found on the estate, which therefore increased its value. I'll talk a little bit more. Well, not more, but there's something at the end for you. The current house was built in 1725 with work spanning 40 years. It has over 300 rooms, but David, our guide, was saying what counts as a room. Does a cupboard count? Some of the cupboards in Wentworth Woodhouse are larger than rooms in his house. And when is a cupboard or room or not? And sometimes there's a cupboard within a cupboard, so is that a room and then the cupboard's a cupboard? Which just makes it even more confusing to count how many there actually are. So in excess of 300. The west front, so I believe that is the brick front, is around 130 feet long, built in the Baroque style. And the east front extension was begun as they were finishing the brick front, has a length of 600 feet, which I think is one of the longest facades in the UK. There is 250,000 square feet of floor space and 124,000 feet of living area, which covers a span of 2.5 acres and is surrounded by a 180-acre park and an estate of 15,000 acres. This is a big place. After World War II, part of the Wentworth house and park lands and stables and various other buildings were leased to the West Riding County Council for use as a teachers' training college, and in the 1950s the house became the Lady Mabel College of Physical Education. And then that merged with the Sheffield City Polytechnic School. So we, on our hidden tour, saw a number of rooms that have been converted into dormitories, the headmistress's suite of rooms, her office, the chapel, lots of funny bathrooms in the nursery and all sorts of things. So we saw, and we also saw the rooms used by the Fitzgerald family during the time at the home, along with a peek at the marble hall from the balcony, which you'll see in a bit here, that was set up for a wedding either today or the next day. The tables in the hall really do give you a sense of scale when you think, there's going to be maybe 6 to 8 people at a round table. And there were, 6 tables and the head table in that hallway, and it still looks empty, so you could soon fit some more people in there. You can wander through the staterooms on your own, but again, like I said, they were closed today for a wedding and some filming of Gentleman Jack. Anne Lister and Anne Walker, I believe, are the 2 heroines of that piece. I'm going to leave you to watch the pictures, and then I'll come back and talk about our next stop, which was Brodsworth Hall. I should mention, to do with this house as well, there is, I believe, a wonderful book called Black Diamonds, which talks about the coal mining in and around the gardens and related area of Wentworth. And hopefully I'll get to read it one day, but I do believe it has been in publication for about 40 years, and I think worth a read if you'd like to know more about the history of Wentworth Woodhouse. And here we are arriving at Brodsworth Hall. This isn't the front of Brodsworth Hall, this is the side, but there was a lorry out front and it was delivering food to the cafe. This is the front, but there you go. This hall is one of the most complete surviving examples of a Victorian house in England. It is virtually unchanged since 1860 and was designed in the Italianate style by London architect Philip Wilkinson. The original house was demolished and replaced with the present one, which took only 2 years to build. The First World War resulted in the owners closing off parts of the house due to insufficient funds, and I believe they also billeted some soldiers. So they had closed some rooms like the big kitchen, and then they opened the big kitchen again so that the soldiers would be able to cater for themselves. The last resident of the house was Sylvia Grand Dalton, and she fought for about 57 years against leaking roofs, land subsidence from the coal mining, and various other problems that are associated with having one of these grand places but not being able to maintain it. She passed away, and her daughter, Pamela Williams, inherited the house and gave the hall and gardens to the English Heritage in 1990. Which was interesting here is that English Heritage decided to conserve the interiors as they found them rather than replacing or restoring them, to demonstrate how a once opulent Victorian house grew comfortably old, which is an interesting thing because a lot of times, when they're restored to how they would have been when when the last people had built it were there, but they decided to kind of restore this one to the point where it had been, I don't want to say abandoned, but left. Anyways, Sylvia lived in about 2 or 3 rooms of the house until her death. She had a butler who lived in, and a couple of women who came in from the village to clean. I think the last time we came to see this property, you could actually go upstairs, and it was very dilapidated, much more dilapidated than the main floor. But it's just interesting to see how grand the rooms are on the main floor. And then upstairs there was, paint chipping and lots of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Lots of dilapidation. Sorry, I got interrupted. A friend came to the door and we had tea and coffee cake. And then I've been for lunch with Mum and Janet, and now I'm back. So we're focused again. So the house has more than 30 rooms, ranging from grand reception rooms, which you see on the main floor, servant quarters, etc. But it is very well preserved estate with wonderful meandering Victorian gardens. Then we did the gardens. We met some very nice people in the gardens and took their picture for them. It's not a great picture of that ceiling. Anyways, and then off to Sherwood and Albert for fish and chips, and into Cawood to get all set up at the old mill where we will be staying for about 5 days. I'm going to do the video of the old mill in tomorrow's video just because this is long enough as it is, and I need some content for tomorrow. We got to Cawood and we went for a little walk. We had a little visit with Janet, and then Vanessa and Ian came over, and then I got picked up by a friend and we went on our own little adventure, and there we go. That's the end of Friday the 13th. Oh, I do have to tell you this story though. When we were at Wentworth Woodhouse, there was this adorable little woman, and she was very, very sweet. She had on little high heels. She'd just been and had her nails done, and on her nails was painted, one nail had a 0 on and one nail had an 8 on because it was her 80th birthday. She was very spry, little stilettos on, all done up, and she was having a birthday party for 120 people in a barn dance that night for her 80th birthday. She was phenomenal. She was very, very cute, very petite. It was quite lovely. So there we go. We met this lovely little woman that traipsed about Wentworth Woodhouse in her stilettos with her daughter. I think we could have got an invite actually to the birthday party if we'd been staying in the area, but there you go. Anyways, enjoy the rest of this. You've got the rest of Brodsworth to look at, and then the drive into Cawood via the fish and chip shop. I should check as well if I left the GoPro on to film the main street in Sherburne or not, so I will check that, and I will see you tomorrow.